Evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Orth live from the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Tuesday, February 20th. Sequim will have a new vacancy on its city council. Former Mayor Tom Farrell announcing he's resigning effective the end of March. Farrell has lived in Sequim since 2016. He was a former planning commission member who then went on to the city council, running unopposed in 2019. He served as mayor from 2022 to 2023 and then won a spot on the council again this past fall. The city's still deciding how it will fill Farrell's seat. It must be filled within 90 days after his resignation. The Port Angeles City Council will take up a revised set of recommendations on regulating short-term rentals tonight. The council holding a public hearing on the latest proposals from city staff. Staff have made a number of overall changes to the proposed fee and licensing structure. The latest adds annual platform business licenses and eliminates the ongoing platform fees. The fees have also been reduced by about 60% from previous proposals, and they also recommend combining annual licenses and inspections into just one application. They've also winnowed down to 3 the options for dealing with where and how many STRs are allowed in Port Angeles. 2 of the options offer a pathway for now non-conforming STRs to continue operating. The options also had possible caps on the number of STRs allowed to operate. Those caps would be based on percentages of housing types available in the city. Now with a look at some things that happened over this long holiday weekend, here's Sandy Keys with his weekend wrap-up.
With a 3-day weekend, there was a possibility of higher numbers of law enforcement events, but that didn't happen. Vehicle accident numbers were up slightly, but there were more days to develop the numbers. As of news deadline time, 4 o'clock yesterday morning, only 9 crashes. 1 at La Push, 1 at Old Olympic Highway, Sequim. All the others were investigated inside Port Angeles city limits, and none of those mentioned injuries. More possible injury accidents were headed off when officers removed 2 drivers from control of vehicles 3 minutes apart on 101 in Sequim and 101 at Carlsberg Road. Then 2 more drivers were relieved of their duties while driving under the influence in Forks 2 hours apart. Known larceny has made very few appearances in police logs in recent days. Just 1 burglary reported, that in the 200 block of West 15th Saturday night. 5 theft complaints were received over the weekend, including from South Lincoln, the South Truck Route, East 1st, and West 18th, all in Port Angeles, plus West Washington and Sequim. Of the 11 reported disturbances, 8 were in Greater Port Angeles. 6 citizens felt they were being harassed. 2 others received threats, and threats developed into assaults in the 1400 block of East 1st, 8 o'clock in the morning Friday. And brewing assaults were kept under control until somebody lost it at 8 o'clock Sunday night at a Port Williams Road address in the Sequim area. In the more routine departments, officers completed about 26 traffic stops, 22 welfare checks, and 19 building checks, countywide. And if anybody has been lamenting the recent loss of all that green grass, dandelions, Canadian thistles growing in the Morse Creek traffic dividers, there's good news. It already is making a comeback. Sandy Keys, Radio Pacific Local News.
You're invited to 2 great classes this month at Airport Garden Center in Port Angeles. On Saturday, February 24th, join Airport Garden Center for All About Mason Bees and their popular rose class, Roses for the Woodland Garden. During their morning rose class, you'll learn how to use roses in the competitive habitat of the Olympic Peninsula. We'll explore modern and classic varieties of roses bred for vigor and beauty, plus protecting your roses from our wandering deer friends. Then at 2 p.m. on February 24th, it's all about mason bees. You'll learn how to successfully introduce these little garden workers to help with pollination. Airport garden experts are excited to offer these education classes to help get the best from your garden. All about mason bees and roses for the woodland garden this Saturday, February 24th. Register for each class at airportgarden.biz. Airport Garden Center on Edgewood Drive, planting knowledge, growing gardeners since 1977.
Rev up your engines, Port Angeles. First Race Car Wash is where premium Shell gas meets the ultimate car pampering experience. Swing by our convenient location for an upgraded car wash experience that'll leave your ride gleaming. Fuel up with Shell's finest and treat your car to the TLC it deserves. First Race Car Wash in Port Angeles. You're a winner every time when you've got that first race shine.
In other news, one local lawmaker's efforts to help medical services and staffing in rural areas now headed to the full House. The House Committee on Health Care and Wellness passed Senator Kevin Vanderweeg's bill that would maintain access to medical care in rural areas by broadening the types of service that may be performed by emergency medical technicians, provided they have advanced certification. Having already passed unanimously in the Senate, SB 5940 now needs only a floor vote by the full House before it's sent on to Governor Jay Inslee to be signed into law. House leaders in Olympia yesterday debuted their proposed changes to the state budget passed last year. Dan Frizzell has more.
The main reason Washington lawmakers have a short 60-day legislative session in even-numbered years is to revisit the current state budget and tweak it based on current circumstances and newly passed laws. Democratic budget writers in the House Monday released a supplemental operating budget that adds about $3 billion to the bottom line and focuses heavily on housing, services for kids and families, climate change, and increased demands for behavioral health care. Spokane State Representative Tim Ormsby chairs the House Budget Panel. Here's Ormsby.
When we invest in Washington's people, they turn around and invest in their communities, and that's what makes our economy strong. During the pandemic, with the aid of federal funding, we were able to shrink gaps with targeted investments. That funding has ended. Luckily, our economy is strong enough that with the resources that we have, we're able to continue to make improvements. We are proud of the investments we're presenting today. We do not go backwards in any part of the budget, nor do we fund one program or project at the expense of another.
Monday's unveiling of the House proposal is just the first step toward delivering a final document to Governor Inslee before the legislature adjourns for the year on March 7th. It'll need to receive a majority vote on the House floor before differences with the Senate's budget can be worked out, leading to approval of that agreed-upon spending plan by both chambers. In Olympia, Dan Frizzell.
This is Newsradio KONP.
Bathfitter does showers? That's right. We offer a wide selection of beautiful and functional showers. We can even convert your bath into a shower. With our seamless one-piece walls and hundreds of design options, you'll get a beautiful new shower guaranteed for life. Bathfitter's been around for 40 years, and we've been experts at showers for just as long. Bathfitter, it just fits.
At Bathfitter Northwest, pay nothing until 2025. Just call 800-NEW-BATH. OAC, see store for details.
When you hear the questions, who sells those? Or who can do that? Or who's open right now? The answer is always the same. Swain's has those, Swain's can do that, and Swain's is open right now. And during the President's Day sale, you'll hear, yep, that's on sale at Swain's too. Men's, women's, and kids' brand name clothing and shoes priced 20 to 60% off. Bedding, travel mugs, space heaters, hunting equipment, all on sale. The options are endless to take advantage of during the Swain's President's Day sale.
All Weather Heating and Cooling is your Mitsubishi authorized dealer. Mitsubishi electric heating and cooling systems offer efficient individual room control with allergen filtration, no ductwork, and dramatic energy savings. Mitsubishi Heating and Cooling Systems. Live better. Contact All Weather Heating and Cooling today.
Here's your Newsradio KONP forecast. Rain showers likely this afternoon, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 50. Winds out of the northeast around 5 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected again tonight. Rain showers likely. Lows dip down to about 41. Rain showers likely tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 50. Cloudy skies expected. I'm weatherology meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 48 degrees.
From ABC Sports, this is Rich Cantu with the NBA still on All-Star break. Focus on top 25 men's college basketball. The marquee game last night, 6th-ranked Iowa State tangling with number 2 Houston in Texas. Second half.
Shed off the dribble, straight on three, got it! Jamal Shed, the straight on, off the dribble, three!
The call on Learfield, 3 of Jamal Shed's game-high 26 points. The Cougars dispatched the Cyclones 73-65. Women's action, number 15 UConn drubbed 21st-ranked Creighton 73-53, giving head coach Gino Auriemma career win 1,003, moving past Coach K, formerly of Duke, for second on the all-time D1 wins list. William Byron won the Daytona 500, delayed from Sunday. Byron, a first-time Daytona winner, breaking a long drought for Hendrick Motorsport at Daytona. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the last to win it for Hendrick in 2014.
It's the first career Great American Race victory for Byron, the Hendrick Motorsports racer. He crossed the finish line while the race was under a caution flag. Nevertheless,
pretty amazing. So it's I'm just so thankful. I got a great team.
And playing on the computer's not always a waste of time.
I had a much different background than anybody in the sport. Growing up racing on iRacing on the computer.
Byron's 26. Chuck Sievertson, ABC Sports.
NHL Hurricanes home against the once proud Blackhawks. Third period.
30 seconds left on the power play. Aho again. Tees it up. Save made. Rebound. Bird scores!
The call on 99.9 The Fan. Carolina doubled up Chicago 6-3. The Wild scored 10 goals, 6 of them unanswered in the second and third periods in a 10-7 win over Vancouver. Boston topped Dallas 4-3 in a shootout. The Golden Knights shut out the Sharks 4-0. This is Rich Cantu, ABC Sports.
In local sports, it was a tear-fest weekend for 3 of the 4 local high school basketball teams as the Sequim boys and girls, along with the Port Angeles boys, had their seasons ended. The Rough Rider girls losing a head-scratcher to a Sammamish team whose sophomore Sophia Eastman, who averaged 20 points per game, schooled the Rough Riders with 27 points in a 37-36 who-wants-it-more type of contest. The Rough Riders came back, though, Saturday and came from behind to keep their season alive with a 44-41 win over an ice-cold shooting Enumclaw team. Now, had the Rough Riders beaten Sammamish, they would have played North Kitsap in their winner-to-Yakima loser-out regional game, then most likely faced White River Wednesday at the Yakima Sundome. Instead, the Rough Riders will meet 13-9 West Valley out of Spokane. The Eagles are led by one of the best athletic shooters in the state in 5'10 shooting guard Chloe DeHaro. DeHaro, who lives in the weight room, has signed to play at NCAA Division II Northwest Nazarene in Nampa, Idaho. DeHaro, who runs a 13.8 100-meter dash, averages over 20 points per game and has scored in the 30s in multiple games, and as a sophomore put 46 points up against Cheney High School. The Eagles started the season slowly, going 1-5 against Idaho schools, but then went 11-3 with the 3 losses coming against 5th-ranked State Power Clarkston to finish the season. The Rough Riders and Eagles will tip off in the Sweet 16 Regional Saturday at 2 p.m. at Tacoma Community College. That game will be broadcast on KONP and our stream at myclallamcounty.com. Our pregame show starts at 1:30. Ole Archibald and Joe Gladfelter will have the play-by-play. The winner gets a ticket to Yakima. The loser is eliminated. The Rough Rider boys were eliminated by Enumclaw 59-45, and no question that next year will be a big rebuild for the Riders. They lose 7 seniors who averaged 57 points per game. The Sequim boys were knocked off by a very good Franklin Pierce team, 67-49. Now, the Wolves return some solid young talent next year, although losing the senior leadership of Keenan Green cannot be underestimated. The amount of time the Wolves spend in the weight room and in the gym this summer will go a long ways into how successful that team will be next year. Bremerton will be the league favorite with North Kitsap right there. With the Rough Riders having a major rebuild, the Wolves potentially could be a serious threat for third place in the Olympic League for the boys. The Sequim Wolves girls' 1-point loss to North Kitsap was one of the biggest upsets around the state. The Wolves dominated the Vikings by wins of 15 and 16 points during the regular season. Once again, poor free throw shooting and turnover issues ended the Wolves season early, though. Who would have thought Kingston and the Vikings would make the regionals, but not the Sequim Wolves? With Mainbridge dropping down to 2A next season and the Rough Riders easily being the league favorites and the Vikings showing what average talent can do with great coaches, the Wolves may be fighting it out with Kingston and North Mason for a final district playoff spot next year. One other sports note, the Peninsula Pirates host Skagit Valley tomorrow night in an important Northern Division matchup for both the women and the men.
This is a true, sad story for ADT, the leader in home security systems. My favorite dog, Oliver, was stolen from our garage recently. If I had a camera system installed in my home from ADT, I would have known exactly what car possibly pulled up in my driveway and stole my little friend. If I had a security system from ADT, my dog would still be here. I called ADT this weekend, and they're coming out in a few days to install a camera and a new security system. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, it's a little too late for me. Listen, protect everyone you love in your family. Call ADT now. Have them come out and give you a quote to install a fall right now.
Paid for by the Home Security Hotline. 800-561-6198. 800-561-6198. 800-561-6198. That's 800-561-6198.
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Home Depot kicked off a busy week of retail earnings, reporting a fifth consecutive decline in revenue on weak demand, underscoring a drop in demand for home improvement thanks to higher interest rates and a slowdown in construction. What's in your wallet? If you have a Capital One card and Discover, then you'll be dealing with the same parent company. That's because Capital One has agreed to buy Discover in a $35 billion all-stock deal. Bloomberg analysts say the combined company will have U.S. credit card volume that's bigger than longtime rivals J.P. Morgan Chase and Citigroup. This is also the biggest merger of the year so far. And Alexei Navalny's widow's X account is back online after being briefly suspended this morning. Yesterday, Yulia Navalny created the account and posted a video where she promised to fight for a free Russia just days after her husband died in a Russian prison. The social media platform and owner Elon Musk have not commented on the suspension. Erica Herskowitz, Bloomberg Radio.
Let's check the traffic next. Brought to you this time out by Leeds Farm Supply and Olympic Medical Center.
Bad Boy Mowers' legendary reputation for build strength, performance, and value is now available with Bad Boy tractors. From mid-size to subcompact models, powered by 22 to 35 horsepower water-cooled diesel engines, your tractor work just got real. Easy. On the farm, the ranch, or even around the house, Bad Boy tractors deliver on power and durability all day, every day.
Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales is your Bad Boy tractor dealer in Sequim.
Bad Boy tractors. Work with an attitude.
This February, join Olympic Medical Heart Center in celebrating American Heart Month. Heart disease is a leading cause of death, but making small changes to your lifestyle can greatly improve your heart health. For resources on how to protect yourself and your loved ones from heart disease, visit olympicmedical.org/healthyheart. Together, let's make our community a healthier and happier place. Olympic Medical Heart Center, here for you and your heart.
Newsradio KONP. Traffic and roads.
All right, just a lot of volume to tell you about out there. Biggest slowdown is in Port Angeles on Lincoln Street. Some issues there, just traffic-wise. It's slowing you down with the stoplights and such, so it's a little slow through Lincoln. Other than that, no big problems. We did have a slowdown just to east of Port Angeles out near the Baker Dip. We had a disabled vehicle that was there for a bit in the center turn lane. That I believe has been cleared out, or it's soon to be, but that was slowing down traffic heading eastbound for a while. Everything else, though, heading east down to Sequim is all green lights right now. No problems there. Sequim itself has no tie-ups, just your normal volume on Washington right now. Hood Canal Bridge is open for traffic right now, and no issues to tell you about on the ferry system either. As we look at the maps heading out west, last check, no problems on 101 or 112 heading out to Forks, Joyce, and out to Nia Bay as well. Currently, we have cloudy skies across the peninsula. It's 45 in Port Townsend, 51 out west at Forks, 48 in Sequim, 48 in downtown Port Angeles, also 48 now out at the airport in Port Angeles.
ABC Entertainment News.
It seems Kanye West's fan base is still strong after comments seen as hateful and anti-Semitic over the past few years put him on the fringes of the mainstream entertainment scene. His new album, Vultures One, a collaboration with Ty Dolla $ign, debuts at number 1 on the Billboard 200 album chart. It's West's 11th chart topper and Ty's first.
There was nothing we could do.
A big night for True Detective Night Country. The finale Sunday night had the biggest audience of the season, 3.2 million viewers on HBO and streaming on Max. And when you look at total viewers in the days and weeks after each episode airs, HBO says this has been the most watched season, averaging 12.7 million viewers per episode.
We need complete and total air superiority.
Masters of the Air is the master of Apple TV Plus series. The World War II drama had the biggest debut weekend ever for a show on Apple, that according to Variety. Better than The Morning Show or Severance. It debuted last month, and the finale airs March 15th. And Rihanna with a birthday today, she's 36. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
Now, lawmakers in the State House of Representatives paused in their business yesterday to honor Japanese Americans who were uprooted from their West Coast homes and sent to internment camps during World War II. John Satgast reports from Olympia.
One of those detention centers was Camp Harmony in Puyallup, where the Washington State Fairgrounds now stand. Puyallup Representative Kelly Chambers says the conditions were horrific.
Crammed into makeshift barracks, families faced harsh conditions and humiliation. For 137 long days, work was hard. Privacy was non-existent. Food was basic. Sanitation was mediocre.
Republican Representative Eric Robertson of Sumner called President Franklin Roosevelt's Executive Order 9066 a grave injustice based on fear and war.
Our country has learned and apologized for these misguided acts and our collective political failure. Grave injustices, atrocity, we remember today so that we not make the mistakes of the past.
House Resolution 4672 passed unanimously. John Satgast, the state capitol.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
For a while now, we've known that some adults are genetically predisposed to be worse sleepers than others, no matter how hard they try to get better Z's. And since genetics are at play here, it stands to reason some kids might be genetically predisposed as well. Now we've got a first-of-its-kind study to prove it. Researchers in the Netherlands say children genetically predisposed to insomnia had more insomnia-related sleep issues, such as difficulty falling asleep or frequently waking up during the night. So, if you or your spouse don't sleep well, or both of you don't sleep well, first of all, sorry, but you're also going to want to pay extra attention to how your kids are sleeping. As much as you can, try to ensure that they've finished eating a few hours before bedtime, and darken their room as much as they're comfortable with when they go to sleep at night. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. Again, 1-800-217-4380.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on Carol. She's more focused on hitting a high note than the car in front of her. Why pay a rate based on anyone else? Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate.
Not available in Alaska or California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates are determined by several factors, which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. One of the most serious problems we have in America today is that there are few standards or absolutes, and those we do have are under constant attack of elimination. I'll tell you that story after this important message.
If you've been hearing my radio programs now for the last 20 years, you know that I've been telling the true stories of those who have followed God's ways to make America the greatest nation in the world. So what's the latest? Well, we're now doing this nation-saving work full-time, and we need your help by becoming one of our ambassadors, subscribing to All We Have for just $5.95 per month. To get what? Number one, full access to our amazing website that is full of over 100 true stories to teach us with these stories how America is to act and operate. We also have lessons for all ages to teach us what we must do now. And our children, they will be our nation's leaders very soon. I will have live presentations online for you to hear, maybe even to participate. And when must this all get started? Now. Call our offices today at 817-995-6965 or go to our website at www.jerrystewartusa.com and email our office. God bless you.
Ever wonder where the word deadline came from? It came from an old-time prison term used before they had high security fences around the prisons. So to keep the prisoners in, a visible line was drawn around the prison, and the inmates were told quite emphatically, cross that line and you'll be shot dead. Now that's a deadline. So today, keep telling yourself, keep believing There are no rules, no standards. Keep telling and teaching your children. There are no absolutes, no real deadlines, no consequences. And see where that gets us in our nation. I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
For the Washington State News Network, I'm Rob Francis. The state Senate Republican budget leader is encouraged by the Senate supplemental budget proposal. Senator Linda Wilson of Vancouver says the spending plan addresses the drug overdose crisis and improvements for law enforcement, criminal justice, and crime victims.
We have several different pieces that will address that were Republican priorities. I think that it's good that it addresses those, considering how bad the crisis is getting.
Once the House and Senate pass their budgets, negotiators from each chamber will work together on developing the final statewide supplemental operating budget. A Washington State Patrol trooper in critical condition after being shot multiple times by a DUI suspect. Washington State Patrol says the trooper attempted to make a traffic stop in Kent, but the suspect led the trooper on a pursuit before crashing. The suspect fled on foot and shot the trooper in the leg. The suspect and a woman associated have been taken into custody. The trooper is expected to survive. And U.S. Senator Maria Cantwell wants the Senate to pass a bipartisan tax package that would bring more housing to Washington State. The money would be used to boost the low-income housing tax credit program. 1,700 affordable housing units would be added in Washington this year under the program. The bill passed the U.S. House last month. For more on these stories and others, download the WSNN mobile app free through the Google Play and the Apple stores. You can also visit our website, WashingtonStateNews.net.
If you're a contractor, it's now easier for you to do business with the Department of Labor and Industries. Go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line and make an appointment with us ahead of time. No waiting around, no wasted time away from your job site. You get in, get out, and get on your way. Easy. So contractors, just go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line to make an appointment and get back to doing what you do best.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The United States preparing more sanctions on Russia in response to the death of opposition leader Alexei Navalny. White House correspondent Greg Cluxton reports.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said the White House will unveil the new sanctions later this week.
We will be announcing a major sanctions package on Friday of this week to hold Russia accountable for what happened to Mr. Navalny.
Kirby said the U.S. had not determined how Navalny had died, but insisted that Russian President Putin is responsible. The announcement of this week's sanctions will coincide with the 2-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Also at townhall.com, the U.S. has vetoed an Arab-backed and widely supported UN resolution demanding an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. Julie Walker has more.
Tuesday's vote was 13-1 with the UK abstaining. U.S. Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield.
Demanding an immediate, unconditional ceasefire without an agreement requiring Hamas to release the hostages will not bring about a durable peace.
The U.S. is pushing its own temporary ceasefire resolution and defending its veto.
This is not, as some members have claimed, an American effort to cover for an imminent ground incursion.
Julie Walker, New York.
Police investigating a suspicious fire in Ferguson, Missouri that killed a woman and 4 children. Police have not publicly identified the victims, but said evidence located made the cause of the fire suspicious. Which just days before the South Carolina primary, GOP candidate Nikki Haley, speaking in Greenville earlier, reiterated she's not dropping out of the presidential race regardless of Saturday's result. Stocks are in the red. The Dow is off 22 points. The Nasdaq down 176. More at townhall.com.
To avoid digital threats, turn on NordVPN. It's trusted by millions of users. Just visit NordVPN.com. One of the fastest VPNs on Earth will block web trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. It will also encrypt your internet traffic while maintaining a smooth connection. So improve your digital privacy and protection against hackers with one simple click. Get the special deal at NordVPN.com and enjoy safer internet daily. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Criminal charges filed in the 2021 assassination of Haiti's president.
A judge investigating the July 2021 assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse has issued a final report that indicts his widow, Martine Moïse, ex-president Claude Joseph, and the former chief of Haiti's National Police, Leon Charles, among others. Charles, who now serves as Haiti's permanent representative to the Organization of American States, faces the most serious charges, including murder and conspiracy. The judge's findings are expected to further destabilize Haiti. It's already struggling with a surge in gang violence and recovering from a spate of recent violent anti-government protest. I'm Norman Hall.
Greek farmers have ridden some 200 tractors to the capital, Athens. They're demanding financial help from the government as cost of living has spiked in that Mediterranean country. Breaking news at townhall.com. It was a daring rescue. A Florida sheriff's deputy says he was just doing his job when he quickly helped a mom, her toddler, and infant children in a car crash. Lisa Dwyer has more.
A speeding motorcyclist sped past at over 100 miles an hour as Charlotte County Deputy Sergeant Dave Musgrove was traveling on a state highway on February 8th. Seconds later, the motorcyclist slammed into a car, their body landing in the car on top of small children in the back seat. Musgrove pulled a toddler from a booster seat.
I'm helping you. I'm trying to help you.
He flagged a passerby to help him.
I need you to hold this little girl, please.
He then worked to free the baby, but the baby was not moving. Musgrove then performed chest compressions on the baby.
I just heard him breathe.
I'm Lisa Dwyer.
More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Ortloff from the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Tuesday, February 20th. Sequim will have a new vacancy on its city council. Former Mayor Tom Farrell announcing he's resigning effective the end of March. Farrell has lived in Sequim since 2016. He was a former planning commission member who then went on to the city council running unopposed in 2019. He served as mayor from 2022 to 2023 and then won a spot on the council again this past fall. The city's still deciding how it will fill Farrell's seat. It must be filled within 90 days after his resignation. The Port Angela City Council will take up a revised set of recommendations on regulating short-term rentals tonight. The council holding a public hearing on the latest proposals from city staff. Staff have made a number of overall changes to the proposed fee and licensing structure. The latest adds annual platform business licenses and eliminates the ongoing platform fees. The fees have also been reduced by about 60% from previous proposals, and they also recommend combining annual licenses and inspections into just one application. They've also winnowed down to 3 the options for dealing with where and how many STRs are allowed in Port Angeles. 2 of the options offer a pathway for now non-conforming STRs to continue operating. The options also had possible caps on the number of STRs allowed to operate. Those caps would be based on percentages of housing types available in the city. Now with a look at some things that happened over this long holiday weekend, here's Sandy Keys with his weekend wrap-up.
With a 3-day weekend, there was a possibility of higher numbers of law enforcement events, but
that didn't happen. Vehicle accident numbers were up slightly, but there were more days to develop the numbers. As of news deadline time, 4 o'clock yesterday morning, only 9 crashes. 1 at La Push, 1 at Old Olympic Highway, Sequim. All the others were investigated inside Port Angeles city limits, and none of those mentioned injuries. More possible injury accidents were headed off when officers removed 2 drivers from control of vehicles 3 minutes apart on 101 in Sequim and 101 at Carlsberg Road. Then 2 more drivers were relieved of their duties while driving under the influence in Forks 2 hours apart. Known larceny has made very few appearances in police logs in recent days. Just 1 burglary reported, that in the 200 block of West 15th Saturday night. 5 theft complaints were received over the weekend, including from South Lincoln, the South Truck Route, East 1st, and West 18th, all in Port Angeles, plus West Washington and Sequim. Of the 11 reported disturbances, 8 were in Greater Port Angeles. 6 citizens felt they were being harassed. 2 others received threats, and threats developed into assaults in the 1400 block of East 1st, 8 o'clock in the morning Friday. And brewing assaults were kept under control until somebody lost it at 8 o'clock Sunday night at a Port Williams Road address in the Sequim area. In the more routine departments, officers completed about 26 traffic stops, 22 welfare checks, and 19 building checks, countywide. And if anybody has been lamenting the recent loss of all that green grass, dandelions, Canadian thistles growing in the Morse Creek traffic dividers, there's good news. It already is making a comeback. Sandy Keys, Radio Pacific Local News.
In other news, one local lawmaker's efforts to help medical services and staffing in rural areas now headed to the full House. The House Committee on Health Care and Wellness passed Senator Kevin Vanderweeg's bill that would maintain access to medical care in rural areas by broadening the types of service that may be performed by emergency medical technicians, provided they have advanced certification. Having already passed unanimously in the Senate, SB 5940 now needs only a floor vote by the full House before it's sent on to Governor Jay Inslee to be signed into law. House leaders in Olympia yesterday debuted their proposed changes to the state budget passed last year. Dan Frizzell has more.
The main reason Washington lawmakers have a short 60-day legislative session in even-numbered years is to revisit the current state budget and tweak it based on current circumstances and newly passed laws. Democratic budget writers in the House Monday released a supplemental operating budget that adds about $3 billion to the bottom line and focuses heavily on housing, services for kids and families, climate change, and increased demands for behavioral health care. Spokane State Representative Tim Ormsby chairs the House Budget Panel. Here's Ormsby.
When we invest in Washington's people, they turn around and invest in their communities, and that's what makes our economy strong. During the pandemic, with the aid of federal funding, we were able to shrink gaps with targeted investments. That funding has ended. Luckily, our economy is strong enough that with the resources that we have, we're able to continue to make improvements. We are proud of the investments we're presenting today. We do not go backwards in any part of the budget, nor do we fund one program or project at the expense of another.
Monday's unveiling of the House proposal is just the first step toward delivering a final document to Governor Inslee before the legislature adjourns for the year on March 7th. It'll need to receive a majority vote on the House floor before differences with the Senate's budget can be worked out, leading to approval of that agreed-upon spending plan by both chambers. In Olympia, Dan Frizzell.
This is Newsradio KONP.
End-of-life decisions are hard. Be it pre-planning or sudden loss, you need to have an advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan and Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
Did you know that hot water accounts for 15 to 20% of your electric energy use? Hi, this is Clallam PUD. Let's talk about heat pump water heaters, or hybrid water heaters. A heat pump water heater uses fans and an evaporator to efficiently extract warmth from the surrounding air, saving you up to 60% on your electric water heating costs. The PUD currently has an instant rebate of up to $900 when using a participating installer, or $600 if you're installing it on your own. Plus, the federal government is offering a $2,000 tax credit. Visit ClallamPUD.net for more information.
I always tell people I was the luckiest guy in the world. I wanted to be an Army man or a fireman, and I got to do both. As a firefighter, my job was about saving lives. I never thought one day I would be fighting for mine.
After spending his career answering the call to save others, Ken was diagnosed with ALS. Now he's facing his biggest battle, for more time. For 70 years, Muscular Dystrophy Association has been answering the call to help people live longer and more independent lives.
MDA means to me hope.
MDA is leading the way for people living with ALS, muscular dystrophy, and other neuromuscular diseases by accelerating research, advancing care, and advocating to empower families like Ken's.
I wouldn't be living as good of a life with ALS if it wasn't for MDA. MDA is helping people live stronger and love longer. Learn more at mda.org today.
All right, let's dive into that weather forecast. Cloudy the rest of the day today. Slight chance of some rain showers at times. Highs will be in the mid-40s to low 50s. Showers continuing tonight. Lows near 40, and showers likely again tomorrow with highs near 50. It remains cloudy on Wednesday night with a slight chance of showers and lows near 40. Then partly sunny as we head to Thursday. Maybe a little bit of rain in the morning, and highs will be about 50. On Thursday night, partly cloudy. Lows will be in the upper 30s. Then sunshine for Friday with highs in the low 50s. Partly cloudy on Friday night. Lows in the upper 30s. Partly sunny for Saturday and a high near 50. Saturday night, clouding up and some rain rolls back in again with lows near 40 and rain likely for Sunday. Highs will be in the mid to upper 40s. And back to work on Monday, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain and maybe a snowflake mixed in. Then mostly cloudy with rain and snow likely in the afternoon. The snow level getting down to about 500 feet this coming Monday, so we'll keep an eye on that. Highs will be in the low to mid 40s on Monday. Currently out there right now, we have clouds across the North Peninsula. It's 47 in Port Townsend, 51 out west at Forks, 49 in Sequim, 48 in downtown Port Angeles, and 48 out at Fairchild Airport.
Septic Myths and Facts, Volume 3.
I use an additive to help my septic system work better.
Washington State doesn't recommend you use any additives in your system. There's no evidence that they improve the life of a septic, and some can even be harmful.
But how do I know if it's working or damaging my system?
By having regular inspections. A list of licensed inspection professionals is available at Clallam County Environmental Health's website at clallam.net/septic.
When shopping for building supplies, lumber, home goods, or hardware items, are you traveling to one of those big box stores? When you wander those big box store aisles, how's that customer service? Absent? Possibly lacking in knowledge?
I don't know.
At Angelus Millwork and Hartnagel's, we have 2 convenient Port Angeles locations, and each one is far from the big box store experience.
Yay!
Since our stores are employee-owned, each one of us has a vested interest in how we serve and treat our customers. You won't find us hiding in the back aisle or turning the other way when you make eye contact for help.
They can't see me if I can't see them.
We're excited to share our day with you while making sure we set the bar high for what true customer service is all about. So if you're looking for a hometown building supply store that treats their customers like next-door neighbors, has deep knowledge on building products while continually supporting the local community, then avoid those trips out of town and come see us today. Angelus Millwork and Hartnagel Building Supply. Building homes, building community since 1906.
Psst, hey, Mark, remember, getting help from Progressive is so easy. You can use the mobile app, chat with us online, or call us.
And you pick now to tell me.
I couldn't miss Little Grace's ballet recital. Oh, thanks for inviting me, by the way.
Did I?
Because you know I'm always here for you.
Yeah. I can use the mobile app if I need help. Sorry, you're in my wife's seat, though?
Oh, yeah, I gotta go anyway. Tell Grace she nailed her chassé.
Get the help you need from Progressive with our mobile app, online chat, or over the phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Right now at Staples, you can print like a pro and save like a boss. Introducing the new HP OfficeJet Pro all-in-one printers. Professional HP quality, blazing HP speeds. Perfect for printing color presentations, flyers, brochures, and more at the home office or the office. And now at Staples, HP OfficeJet Pro printers are up to $90 off. So you can print and save like a pro. For the best deals on America's most trusted printer brand, HP, shop Staples today. Ends 3/2. Offer good in-store and online.
If you only have a 401k, you're not getting the most for retirement.
Wait, what?
Add a Robinhood IRA on top, then they'll boost it by 3%.
You can do that?
And if you transfer in any retirement account, you get 3% on top of that.
Is there a limit to the match?
No limit. Robinhood Gold gets you the biggest contribution match of any IRA on the market. Sign up for Robinhood Gold at Robinhood.com/boost by April 30th. Subscription fees apply.
Investing involves risk. 3% match requires gold for 1 year from first match. Must keep IRA for 5 years. Match on transfers subject to additional terms and conditions. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Got an event? Make it special with live classic hits from Black Diamond Junction. The band voted best on the peninsula the past 7 years in a row.
We hired BDJ for our anniversary party. Their classic hits were so good and kept all generations of our guests dancing.
What a great band and the best entertainers. We had them for an event and won't hesitate to bring them back again. No question.
BDJ made our annual family and friends party the best ever. So professional and great to work with.
Get more info at blackdiamondjunction.com or Black Diamond Junction on Facebook and Instagram.
It's 10 minutes in front of 1 o'clock now.
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Just ahead of the closing bell on Wall Street, stocks are on track to end the day lower. That's on jitters about tomorrow's earnings and outlook from artificial intelligence chip maker NVIDIA. Right now, the Dow's down 1/3%, the tech-heavy NASDAQ down 1 1/3%, the S&P down 0.9%. Among the big gainers, shares of Discover Financial up more than 12% after Capital One Bank agreed to buy Discover for $35 billion in stock, creating a credit card issuing giant that'll rival Visa and MasterCard. That deal, though, still faces regulatory scrutiny. Shares of Walmart up 3% after posting better than forecast results last quarter, despite predicting softer profits for the year ahead. It also confirmed it's buying the smart TV maker Vizio. And it's going to cost you more to fly. American Airlines jacking up the cost to check a bag from $30 to $35 for your first check bag, $40 if you don't pay online ahead of check-in. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
We get a check on the roads next, brought to you by Angela's Furniture and McCrory Carpet One.
Warm up to winter savings with Stressless by Eckernes at Angela's Furniture. You'll get 10% off Stressless Furniture or $400 off Stressless Power Recliners from now through March 4th. Come by and ask one of our knowledgeable staff about Stressless. Whether this is your first Stressless purchase or whether you're a returning, happy customer, you'll always have the same great service and experience at Angela's Furniture. Stop by today and let us help you find the perfect Stressless piece. 1114 East 1st Street.
Sensitive to dust, mold, or allergens? Breathe easier at McCrory Carpet One thanks to their Healthier Living installation system that features cleaner installation practices. Their HEPA vacuum system removes the old dust, and a Heathenex antimicrobial treatment is used before they install your new floor. If it's new carpeting in your home, they include their hypoallergenic premium cushion that inhibits the growth of mold and mildew. Best of all, there's no extra charge for this healthier install. Only at McCrory Carpet One.
Newsradio KONP. Traffic and roads.
All right, just some volume to contend with out there right now. No other real big problems. Pretty slow in the downtown Port Angeles area, according to the latest maps, and a little bit of slowing as you're heading east out of town, especially out near Walmart and also through the Morse Creek corners there. But all the way to Squim from there, nothing but speed limit all the way, and no problems in Squim itself. A little bit of slowdown in that construction zone, of course, as you go east of Squim. But no other problems beyond that. The Hood Canal Bridge is right now open for traffic. No problems there, no scheduled closures. And if you're heading out west, no issues on 101 or 112 out to Joyce or Forks at last check. Well, a shakeup in the credit card industry, as Capital One is planning to buy Discover in a deal valued at $35 billion. ABC's chief business correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis, says there actually might be some good news in this for consumers.
Analysts believe the combined company will offer better rewards programs. Discover cards, mostly cash back today. Capital One offers a variety. There isn't a lot of overlap in their customers, so if you do have one of these cards in your wallet today, a year from now, don't be surprised if you get a letter in the mail describing new terms. And by the way, they have to tell you 45 days ahead before they make a change.
Health experts warning about a surge in measles cases nationwide. This after the number of confirmed cases at an elementary school in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, jumped to 5. 9 other cases have been reported in the Philadelphia area since December, all involving unvaccinated people. The CDC requires the measles vaccine to attend public schools, but parents can seek religious or medical exemptions. Experts say when 95% of a community is vaccinated, measles can't spread. But currently, 36 states fall below that 95% threshold. Dr. David Kimberland is a co-director of the Division of Pediatric Infectious Diseases at the University of Alabama, Birmingham.
We have to have very high, 95% or greater immunity within a population in order for this virus that's like a heat-seeking missile to not be able to find someone who's susceptible.
Joining us next hour on the Todd Orthoff Show. First segment, we're going to be talking about some business and CET, they call that, CTE, I should say, and what's going on with the Port Angeles High School with that. And then also another highlight of a show coming to the Field Arts and Events Hall as we chat with one of those artists. That's all next hour on the TO Show.
Have you ever wondered what you would look like surfing on a 747 wing at 35,000 feet? Or maybe, how would you look arriving in formal wear and in a Rolls Royce at a royal wedding? Wonder no more. The power to create these scenes is about to arrive. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by T-Mobile. Their advanced network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55 today. Okay, what I just described is from OpenAI, the same people who created ChatGPT. It's called Sora. Sora will create any kind of video that you type into it, anything you can imagine. They're up to a minute long, at least for now, and breathtakingly realistic. All of this comes from simple text prompts entered at your keyboard. And yes, Sora is an incredible breakthrough. It's also incredibly dangerous, especially when it's released to the entire world. Sora means that you cannot trust anything that you see on any screen, especially in an election year. Join over 500,000 folks who get tech smart with my free newsletter. Sign up at getkim.com. Ever browse in incognito mode? Well, incognito mode is part of your Chrome browser. So, yeah, it's a Google product, and Google has made its fortune by tracking your movements online. Google's defense? Incognito does not mean invisible. So how do you actually make yourself invisible online? With ExpressVPN. Data brokers buy and sell your IP address, which uniquely identifies you and your location. But with ExpressVPN, your connection is encrypted and your IP address is masked, so it's harder for third parties to identify you and harvest your data. It's a must-have for truly private browsing. I use ExpressVPN every time I go online. It's easy to fire up the app and tap connect. So if you really want to go incognito and protect your privacy, secure yourself with the #1 rated VPN. Visit expressvpn.com/tech and get 3 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/tech. expressvpn.com/tech.
Cutting back on social media may have benefits to your health. I'll tell you more after this.
Give the star in your life the brightest gift in the world. Name a star after them. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star for birthdays, weddings, or even memorials. Over 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities and individuals from around the world. The star you name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
All that time we spend scrolling through social media feeds can bag some negative impacts on our mental health. A recent study on mental wellness and social media included about 200 students between the ages of 17 and 25. After several weeks, the group that was restricted to just 1 hour a day expressed a 50% improvement in their subjective feelings of mental wellness, which included less anxiety and improved sense of body image. As with many other behaviors, the key is balance and moderation. I am actually considering getting a flip phone to dial back on some of the time I waste online. To see if you may benefit from less social media exposure, do your own experiment. Cut back and see how you feel. With Your Body, I'm ABC's Dr. Jen Ashton.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Online at myclallamcounty.com. News Radio KONP, Port Angeles, Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Ahead of Saturday's GOP presidential primary in South Carolina, Nikki Haley says despite calls for her to drop out of the GOP presidential race, she's not bowing out or, quote, kissing the ring of former President Trump, who leads in the polls.
It was promoted by her campaign as an address on the state of the race, and it began with Nikki Haley pointing to speculation that she might drop out.
Well, I'm not.
Haley says she'll stay in the race until the last person votes and continue to press the case against the GOP frontrunner.
I have no fear of Trump's retribution.
Ahead of Saturday's South Carolina primary, the latest 538 polling average has Trump leading Haley by more than 30 points in her home state. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
The White House announcing additional major sanctions against Russia in response to the death of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny last week at an Arctic prison. Navalny's family says Russia's government refuses to return his body. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan.
We have worked persistently and diligently to identify, to continue to impose costs for what Russia has done, for what it's done to Navalny, for what it's done to Ukraine, and for the threat that it represents to international peace and security.
Kansas City authorities today announcing new arrests in connection with the deadly shooting at the Chiefs Super Bowl rally last week. Prosecutor Gene Peters Baker says Dominic Miller and Lyndall Mays are facing murder and weapons charges following a dispute that broke out.
That argument very quickly escalated to Mays drawing his firearm, a handgun.
Investigators allege Miller's gun fired the shot that killed radio DJ Lisa Lopez Galvin. 2 juveniles were already charged following the shooting. Severe storm alerts, including flood watches, remain in effect for much of California. Santa Barbara and Ventura counties have been hit the hardest, receiving between 8 and 11 inches of rain in 3 days. You're listening to ABC News.
My wife and I both, we ended up mildly sick for a few months, and the nasal congestion was probably the worst part. I had like a post-nasal drip, just super congested all the time. We were taking everything we possibly could, but nothing really worked.
Kyrie was miserable until a friend recommended Navage. Navage offers immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Don't live in misery this cold season. Use Navage so you can breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
The biggest thing Navage has done has completely cleaned out my nasal passages. It was from the first use. I was able to just clear out anything that was stopping me from breathing correctly. Navage helps me clear the way, literally clear the way, for me to operate better in the rest of my life.
Experience the Navage difference yourself. Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. Navage, Navage.
The latest application for artificial intelligence is cause for celebration among animal rights activists.
From development to FDA approval to getting a drug to market takes 10 to 15 years. Now a company called Predicare has come up with an AI-based program to analyze various drugs for treatment of a specific lung disease, a virtual clinical trial. The method takes out the animal testing component and could slash the approval time for medications.
ABC's Jim Ryan. A financial advice columnist is out with a warning about scams after she got taken for $50,000 herself.
Charlotte Coles, the Cut's financial advice columnist, thought she was the victim of identity fraud. The person she was speaking to describing a warrant out for her arrest for cyber crimes and drug trafficking. Their directions? Deliver $50,000 cash to a vehicle that would pull up to her home. Coles is the growing face of who these scammers target, younger adults. According to a recent report from the FTC, 18 to 59-year-olds are 34% more likely than those over 60 to lose money to fraud.
ABC's Eva Pilgrim. We've all heard that regular exercise is good for us, but a new study found that women can reap more benefits than men with less time and less effort. Researchers say women who were active saw a 24% lower risk of dying from any cause when compared to inactive women. For active men, the risk was just 15%. Michelle Franzen, ABC.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
If it's time for new asphalt paving for your dirt, gravel, or damaged driveway, now's the time to call Lakeside Industries for a free estimate. They've been serving this community since 1982 with city, county, and highway projects, of course. But did you know that they do residential and commercial grading, paving, and stormwater too? Well, they're scheduling spring and summer jobs right now, and no job is too small. Just call Lakeside Industries 452-7803 or lakesideindustries.com.
Bathfitter does showers? That's right. We offer a wide selection of beautiful and functional showers. We can even convert your bath into a shower. With our seamless one-piece walls and hundreds of design options, you'll get a beautiful new shower guaranteed for life. Bathfitter's been around for 40 years, and we've been experts at showers for just as long. Bathfitter, it just fits.
At Bathfitter Northwest, pay nothing until 2025. Just call 800-NEW-BATH. OAC, see store for details.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results, 457-6600. Sequim will have a new vacancy on its city council. Last week, former Mayor Tom Farrell announcing he would resign effective the end of March. Farrell has lived in Sequim since 2016. He served as mayor from 2022 to 2023. After winning an unopposed race in 2019 to get on the council, and just won another term on the council this past fall.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast. Rain showers likely this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 49. Winds out of the northeast around 5 miles per hour. Overcast skies again tonight. Showers likely. Lows around 41. Rain showers likely tomorrow. Highs around 50. Cloudy skies. I'm weatherology meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 48 degrees.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
All right, welcome once again to the program. I'm going to talk a little bit in this first segment about career technical education, CTE. There's lots of opportunities for students to get involved in all sorts of things that are not traditionally what we might think of as far as a college thing. Although you'll find out most of these students are going to probably head off to college just the same. We've got a couple of folks that are involved in some student organizations that are revolving around CTE, and we also have Jennifer Rogers from up at the high school, who's she's the gal in charge of this stuff. So when we say CTE, I'm going to just start there because a lot of people hear about it but may not know what it is in the year 2024 when we talk about a school district or a high, like a school in CTE, for example. So how do you explain what you're in charge of right now?
I would say that the career and technical education programs are a way for students to experience all different aspects of opportunities out in the industry. So we have an incredible wood shop program, machining program, engine building program. You can have opportunities to fix cars and see what that's like. And then we jump over to the business side of things and we can do marketing. You can learn about business communications, all of what the industry uses that way. And then we don't stop because we go with our health sciences, right. And we have a new program this year, Nutrition and Wellness, which gives the kids an opportunity to learn about how to cook healthy foods and to take care of themselves. And then we also have our HOSA group, which is just going to talk to you. But that's our sports medicine kids. And so that's a great opportunity. And they come out and actually work with our kids and our athletes. So it is such a robust...
get hands-on.
Hands-on. And that's really what all of CTE is, the opportunity to be hands-on. That most kids aren't going to, some programs and schools don't have that. And our kids get the opportunity to actually touch the machinery and tools, learn how to use them, go out. And then when they go out for an interview or they go out into industry, they're actually ready to go. They know what they're doing. They're learning the skills that they're going to use in a job, which really puts them ahead of everybody else.
You've been associated with the school and with this for long enough to know, is there renewed, more interest now in CTE than maybe even the last number of years? Or are students gravitating to it even more readily?
I do. I think so. And I think that we're really expanding what we're trying to offer kids because you're looking at all the different areas that kids are interested in going into. And this year we added a marine biology program too. And I mean, that fits right with where we live. So these are all things that kids, they're seeing it, and it's not get to college and figure out what you want to do. Yeah. It's here's an opportunity in high school to experience real world things. Some of the things they make out of the wood shop, everything from that instance on is really spectacular to have them have that opportunity and to make things. And I do think there's an increase in the kids are looking at it as there's technical schools that they can go to, and there's opportunities where they don't need to maybe go to college. They can get right out into industry and work and make a good living doing it. It's not just I'm going out at minimum wage. I'm going out and making a really good living and contributing to society that way.
You certainly know that, the number of electives has changed. It used to be that a lot of kids back in the dark ages when I was going to school, you had electives and you could try out some of these programs in your regular schedule. So how is that working now where you don't have as many opportunities where kids can kind of plug in?
We actually have a 7-period day, which has been fantastic because the kids are able to try a number of electives. And then there's a number of programs that also build on that. So my program through the marketing is a 4-year program. We have a 3-year welding program. Everything is kind of building to allow kids the opportunity, if they really like it, to grow with it and not just stay 1 year and be like, okay, I'll try something else. And it really is a great way to get kids, and they seem to like certain programs and fit certain needs that kids have and things that they like doing. And so we really don't have much trouble filling our classes, and a great opportunity with 7 periods to make sure that kids have enough electives.
Did not know that. So at least there is an opportunity to try those out. All right, you have an open house coming up, and this is for folks to kind of see what you all are doing up there.
Correct. We're going to do on March 20th, we're going to do CTE tours, and it's going to give public people, and also we would like to have some of the industry people as well that maybe haven't been exposed to our programs yet come up to the high school there. I believe they're going to start at the Lincoln Center, and then we're going to bus them to the high school, and the students are going to actually take them around and explain the programs to them. So it's not teachers, it's kids that are actually doing it. And they can go around, and if they're interested in the robotics program, they can go see the robotics program. If they're interested in the marketing program, that's great. Or if they want to go out to the machine shop. So it really gives them an opportunity to see what the students in this area are doing and really touch base with the community.
And it is, you kind of alluded to this, it's a two-way street. You need industry to be involved with this, because I know that's what makes it really work, where you can get these students landing in places or getting a chance. Maybe you call it an internship or whatever. It might be a part-time job.
Right. No, the internships that we have out there, in fact, I was just meeting with the Olympic Medical Foundation about an internship for our students. And one of the things within CTE we do is leadership is doing a Wellapalooza and a career fair, and that's bringing people in. So we have contacts through industry that are allowing kids. There's a medical assistant program that's going on at OMC where they can get immediate jobs and ride out and get trained and paid. Their training is paid for. So all of those things are exposing students to what's out there and what's available to them. And we need industry people to help us to make sure that we're doing what we're doing is current to that industry and also getting them an opportunity.
All right. We're going to hear from a couple of these students you brought in as well. And the first one, we're going to talk with Finn Thompson, who's been involved in it's HOSA, right? It's the, let me get it right, Health Occupation Students of America. Did I get that right?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, so tell us, first of all, how you got involved with this. As Jennifer pointed out, this is a sports medicine kind of angle of things.
So at the high school, we have a class called sports medicine, and the teacher of that is Shauna Olson, who I just want to give many kudos for. She's an amazing athletic trainer and a great teacher. And so that class, it focuses a lot on athletic injuries. So we learn a lot about the human body, how it functions in sports, and how to make sure that it's functioning at 100%, and we can make sure that it stays at 100% throughout the entire sport. So we get a lot of opportunities to go out on the field and help athletes if they're injured, anything from just a little cut to if you have a broken ankle. I mean, we know how to handle that in any of the sports. And then off of that, she is also the kind of overseer of this club called HOSA. Mm-hmm. And it's health occupation, so it's for students who are interested, or, I mean, if you plan on going to a health career after high school, or even if you just have a slight interest, like, it's a perfect club. We go and we study all sorts of different careers in the health field. And then we even have an opportunity to go and compete in these kinds of things in Spokane in March. And that was what I was going to ask about, because, well, usually when we talk about these, that's it. There's competitions, there are things like that. How do you do a competition in HOSA? Give us an example of what you would go for. So last year we went, they have like all sorts of categories for different careers that you could possibly want to do. I went last year for emergency medical technician, EMT, and so it's a partner thing. So me and another student took a pre-test in February for a placement. So this is like the entire state of Washington. Any club in Washington takes these tests, and then that's how you place to see who goes to state or not. And it's combined for the partner test. And so we didn't get our scores back until the day we left for the conference, but we made it. And so we did a lot of studying. We went to the fire department. They helped us learn stuff about airways and that kind of stuff. And then, we go out to Spokane and we spend a weekend out there going to different classes. And then also we have an opportunity to go compete in a scenario that would be, just a common scenario in any EMT. So you would do a response, basically. Yeah. Oh. So it's like, it's not out on the street, but you just walk into this room and immediately you are forced to learn what has happened, like deduce based on cues given by an actor on the floor, and then be able to work out what you need to do to help this person have the best outcome. How about that? All right. A little bit about you. How did you get involved? This must be a career track for you. You must want to do something in health occupations, some sort of health? Yeah. I have always been a little bit interested in health careers. My grandpa, Michael Kopis, he was a head neurologist at Harborview, and also he founded Health Northwest, and so that's kind of where it comes from. But also I think it's just really important knowledge for everyone to have about basic first aid and CPR and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you walk up on someone and they're in a dire situation, it's always important to know how to help them out. All right. What grade are you in this year? I am a junior. You're a junior. Yep. Okay. I'll still ask this, though. What's your plan after you get out of high school? My plan, I'm relatively undecided, but I'm thinking I'm going to go into the military. I either want to go be a pararescue jumper in the Air Force, or I want to go fly helicopters for the Army. Interesting. All right.
Congrats, Finn. You will go far. I'm certain of it. Yeah. All right. And I learned about HOSA today, which is a great thing. I know a lot about FBLA, and that's our other student guest that I have, and that's Liz Monroe Sanders here. Liz, thanks for coming in. It's good to see you.
Hi. So basically, FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America, we tend to do a lot of different things. A couple of our big things that we've done today, not today, this year, was in the beginning of the year we took our group and SQUIM's chapter and we had a bowling party to kind of bond in a sense. Then about right before winter break, we went to Jefferson and made about 300 bags of popcorn for the students and teachers as a community service event. And then just recently we do basketball concessions, and on our doubleheader with SQUIM we had a pie bake-off with our staff and then took pies up at the concessions and sold them for scholarship money for our seniors that are graduating this year.
Hence a little of the business side of these things, right? Where you come up with a few things like running concession stands and such. How long? You're the president right now,
yes,
right?
I am.
Yeah, of the chapter. How long have you been involved in FBLA?
This is my 3rd year.
Okay.
I was an officer for 2 years and a normal member my freshman year, and then my sophomore and junior year I was officers.
How did you get involved? What got you started in FBLA? How did you get plugged in there?
Well, so at the beginning of the school year, we do club fairs, and FBLA was one of those stations that were at the kind of thing where you do, where they basically put a whole bunch of different clubs so you can kind of figure out what you're interested, what sounds interesting, and so you can kind of help guide what you want to do. And FBLA was one of the ones that was out there my freshman year. And I decided to look into it. I was already taking a business class.
I was going to say, so you had some inkling of business perhaps going on. You have competitions as well, correct?
Yes,
so,
we do.
Tell us a bit, as Finn talked about, what do you guys do in a competition?
So we have basically 2 types of competitions. We have our written tests, where we take a 100-question test in 1 hour, and depending on how many you get correct is how you place. And I actually took an accounting one back in the beginning of February and placed 3rd in accounting. And that's one of the competitions that I'm taking to state in the end of April.
So you have different disciplines. I mean, there's accounting, there's marketing, you're right, okay.
There's accounting, marketing, there's different types of, if you're interested in certain things, you can do certain different written tests and study for those. But then there's also the performance tasks. So there's role playing where you're playing out scenarios over something, or you're doing public speaking, or they set up job interviews, mock job interviews, to help kind of get you in a sense and ready for the real world, and push you towards that direction. So they're setting you up for your best success.
All right. What's next for you? You're a senior this year, so
sophomore, junior
this year. Okay, so same question. You got another year to think about it, but what do you plan on doing when you're done?
I'm probably gonna go to college, study some sort of business. I haven't decided yet.
All right.
But yeah.
But business is going to be in your wheelhouse somehow. All right. Very good. Last question for both of you, and we'll go Liz first. What's best about being an FBLA for you?
I feel like the opportunities that I get to experience and the leadership skills that I can learn from just being an everyday participant of that organization.
All right. Finn, same question. What's best about being HOSA for you?
I think HOSA for me, it's really good to go out where we're focused we're somewhat focused on going out in the community and helping out. We're trying to help out with blood drives and trying to do community fundraising, and kind of just go out and like have the community be a part of what we do. And also it's important to focus on like helping other people and being selfless and kind of just helping others out.
Well, as you heard, both of our students here are active in CTE, in clubs that are associated with that, but they're also both going off to college, military, whatever it might be. So, I mean, there's just the world is your oyster in a lot of ways. And so, Jennifer, I guess to bring it full circle, let's just recap on a chance for folks to find out more about CTE. Again, you want to highlight the open house time?
I would love to. Okay. So we are doing it on Wednesday, March 20th. It's 9:30 to 12 p.m. You are going to get lunch provided by our new Wildcat Cafe, which is part of our Lincoln High School CTE program. And so that's a great opportunity for people to visit that. That's going to be actually open to the public on a regular basis starting March 1st. So it's a great program to be associated with. And you can call 457-8575 to RSVP. And we would love to have you and love to tour our programs with you.
It's great, exciting things happening. Jennifer, thanks so much for coming down. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
As always, Jennifer Rogers there. She's with CTE program through the school district. And two of the students up at Port Angeles High School very much involved with that, Finn Thompson and Liz Monroe Sanders. Thank you both for coming in. It's great and good luck to you. All right,
Thank you very much.
As you guys move ahead,
Thank you so much.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be back. We're going to talk with one of the artists upcoming for a performance at Field Arts in Events Hall right after this.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg is always adding to the list of things they provide to keep your vehicle looking brand new. The full detail shop is just one more service to check off that list. Not only will your interior and exterior shine, your engine will sparkle too. Red Carpet is also getting some winter upgrades, including new equipment in the manual bay and new vacuums. Call Kyle today and let him get you scheduled for your red carpet treatment Tuesday through Saturday. 360-461-0826.
Hello, this is Amanda Huff with Swim Valley and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapels. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a new, exciting, and environmentally friendly development in the funeral industry. It's called natural organic reduction, or simply terramation. Perhaps you've heard of it. Terramation is a process in which the body, after death, is returned to the earth in a carbon-neutral, eco-friendly manner. The process takes place in a controlled environment, and all that remains is a natural, odorless, compost-like material. If you'd like more information about terramation and advanced planning, call us today at Harper Ridgeview in Port Angeles or Swim Valley Chapel in Swim, and one of our knowledgeable and caring funeral professionals will assist you in answering your questions. Harper Ridgeview and Swim Valley Funeral Chapels, because your loved ones deserve the best.
Great news for Sequim residents. The Olympic Medical Center Walk-In Clinic in Sequim is once again open 5 days a week. Thanks to the addition of 2 new full-time providers, OMC is expanding our same-day primary care walk-in service in Sequim to Monday through Friday. Visit the Sequim Walk-In Clinic at 840 North 5th Avenue, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for same-day primary care you can trust. Learn more at olympicmedical.org/walk-in clinic.
Buying locally doesn't always mean paying more. At McCrory Carpet One, they're a part of a cooperative that bands together over 1,000 family businesses just like them to form the largest floor buying group in America. Together, they buy over $7 billion in flooring. That means not only do you get the best prices and quality installation, but you help support local jobs and families. For over 60 years, always priced right, always done right. McCrory Carpet One.
At Olympic Peninsula Title, old-fashioned customer service never goes out of style. We've been closing real estate transactions in Clallam County for 40 years and have earned the repeat business of our customers. We treat people with respect, do what we say, put the security of our customers' funds and information as priority number one, and always provide service with a smile. When it's time to choose a title company to close your transaction, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title. See why we've been voted best title company in Clallam County over and over again.
In my next segment, we're going to highlight another of the fabulous acts coming to Field Arts in Events Hall here in Port Angeles. This one coming up March 1st is Folk Life. It's from Jamie Stone. And Jamie joins us. Thanks for coming on board with us for a few minutes this afternoon.
Gladly. Good to be with you.
So let's talk a bit about, you're a two-time Juno Award winner, which many folks around here know all about that. That's the Canadian Grammy, if you will. So tell us a bit about kind of your journey in what you have put together in what ultimately is this show that you're going to be bringing to Port Angeles here in about a month or so. I should say in about a week or so.
It's actually both, a week and a month.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I have long been fascinated with the arcane corners of folk music history. In particular, I love hearing field recordings, so these are the scratchy old recordings that were sometimes done on acetate disc cutters or later in the mid-century reel-to-reel tapes that folklorists would cart around to record people, in their, by the campfire or on their front porch or at a corn shucking or, out in a prison camp, and people like Alan Lomax. And recordings like this are what have given us a lot of knowledge of old songs and how people sang them. And, the beautiful thing about these two is you get to hear, dogs in the yard and the sound of creaking chairs, and it's a very real human thing. And so I am also not someone who's a preservationist. That's other people, great archivists and librarians do that work. I'm a musician. Yeah. I love making new sounds out of old things, and so I will take these old songs and sounds and create new arrangements and fold in all kinds of different influences, contemporary ideas and things, and kind of recycle them back into these new reimagined arrangements of these old songs.
And it's a whole bunch of different kinds of, when we say folk music, we tend to think of it as one thing, but you widen that genre into something that maybe we don't even think of. It's like, oh yeah, that's folk music, but I wouldn't have called it that.
Yeah, I use folk music in the more literal sense, which is music of the people. And so for me, all music is folk music. Mm-hmm. Which is not a brand new concept. Louis Armstrong used to say the same thing. All music is folk music. I ain't never heard a horse sing, I think is what he was quoted as saying once. So this includes a lot of music from other parts of the world. We're going to play some songs from Mali, West Africa, where I went and made field recordings myself in the early 2000s. We'll play a song from a little far-flung Caribbean island called Carriacou that Alan Lomax visited in the early 1950s. We'll do some songs from the British Isles. And then, of course, what people think of when they think of folk music, Appalachian fiddle tunes and old ballads and things like that. And then, there's also, slightly more particular regional styles. We do a few tunes from the Georgia Sea Islands, which is a really, really deep African-American tradition of spirituals and kind of, ring shouts and these very communal participatory songs. So I like to go, a little deeper than what people normally think of as folk music, and allow people into this incredible cultural richness that this songs live in.
How did you get into doing this? Like anybody's story, you probably didn't set out as a musician to be somebody that is going to be somewhat of a. You don't call yourself a preservationist. I'll still use that word. There was a historian, if you will, somebody that's taking these old field recordings and turning them into something new. That's not really a traditional path most people would take as a musician.
Well, I kind of fell into it. I started playing the banjo when I was 16, and I lived not too far from you up in Vancouver at that time. And there was some amazing librarian, bless their heart. I never got to meet them at the Vancouver Public Library that was obviously into this old music. And so I would go there and, take out LPs and cassettes and books and things. And so I learned a lot about that music there. And back, if folks listening can remember, in the pre-digital age, when I was a teenager, you couldn't download music. And, this great record label called Smithsonian Folkways used to have this deal where if you sent them a postcard with an album that they had but wasn't actually in print, they weren't actually making CDs or cassettes of this, but they had it in their archive, they would actually spin you up a copy. And it was on this kind of very basically labeled, that someone just an intern typed it up or something on a typewriter and put the sticker on, but they would send it to you in lieu of a nice shiny package with this 11 by 17 mimeographed history of the artist and the music and the songs. It was way deeper than liner notes would normally be. And so I just got really nerdy and started listening and learning and reading. And every time someone would mention a record, I would say oh, I should go listen to the person that they learned that song from. And then I kind of just kept going up down the family tree of these songs until I got to the earliest recordings. And that was kind of my inroad into all of this.
Is it a tricky proposition for you to take these and make them new, as you mentioned? I mean, you're trying to, you keep them as original as you can, but you're giving them your own new twist.
Yeah, I mean, that's the part that I love the most, and that's why I'm doing it. I'm not here to do a reenactment. And in fact, because most of these were already recorded, if you want to go listen to what they sounded like, you should do that. And I encourage people to do that. I want to do something new, both for my own artistic expression, and I feel like, it's what keeps these things alive. Nowadays, they can take old pop bottles and spin them in some way and turn them into fleece jackets to keep you warm out there on a cold February afternoon. And so I want these songs to do the same thing. I want to kind of spin them up in some new way so that we can actually make use of them right now and feel like they're relevant to our time, to our influences. I like to say my music is post-electronic acoustic music, which is to say I've listened to lots of pop music, and I'm a record producer too, and I'm not performing, and I love technology, and I love all kinds of sounds, and I kind of want to find ways to bring them in and make the instruments that I play sound like or evoke instruments from other eras or other continents. I love cross-pollinating ideas and sounds whenever I can.
Well, we look forward to hearing that ourselves on March 1st at Field Arts and Events Hall. You're going to love our new theater that we have here, and glad to have you come south of the border and treat us to some of what will be in folk life. Jamie Stone, thanks for spending some time with our listeners today.
Thanks so much.
All right, we'll see you in about 2 weeks, all right?
Okay.
Sounds good. Jamie Stone there, and tickets are still available. Just go over to fieldhallevents.org, fieldhallevents.org. You can get tickets for Folklife March 1st. Jamie Stone will be here with a very unique and I think will be pretty educational and entertaining program that will be coming to town. We're going to take a break. Be back with more in just a moment.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
For the Washington State News Network, I'm Rob Francis. 3 of the 6 citizens' initiatives to the Washington State Legislature will receive public hearings next week. Lawmakers can approve, reject, or propose legislative alternatives to any of the measures. Public hearings on initiatives addressing police pursuits, a state income tax, and parental rights will have joint public hearings February 27th and 28th. Hearings were not scheduled for initiatives to repeal the Climate Commitment Act, the capital gains tax, and opting out of the state's long-term care health program. All initiatives not adopted into law will be on the November ballot. Snowpack in the Washington Cascades now 60 to 70% of normal, which is raising some concern about the upcoming wildfire season. But National Weather Service meteorologist Charlotte Dewey says studies show no direct correlation between the level of snowpack and the severity of wildfire season.
The more direct relation tends to be how quickly we warm up and how quickly we dry out those fine fuels at the surface and evaporate any last lingering snowpack that's there.
Snow levels have varied by wide margins throughout the winter because of rainfall in between colder weather that brought snow. And Washington State takes the top spot in the nation for worst pothole problems. A new report by USA Today Blueprint ranks the Evergreen State number 1. The report finds the average pothole repair bill $457, with pothole-related repairs up 57%. For more on these stories and others, download the WSNN mobile app or visit our website, WashingtonStateNews.net.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast. Rain showers likely this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 49. Winds out of the northeast around 5 miles per hour. Overcast skies again tonight. Showers likely. Lows around 41. Rain showers likely tomorrow.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Ditch those high-interest credit cards and see what a home equity line of credit, a HELOC, or a home equity loan, a HELOAN, from WaFd Bank can do for you. Jumpstart your financial goals, remodel your kitchen, consolidate debt, or help pay for college expenses. Visit WaFd Bank at the KONP Home Show this March or at wafedbank.com to learn more or apply online. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, all loans subject to credit approval. Program restrictions may apply.
Welcome back to the program. Blame Air Canada. The airline admitting its AI-generated chatbot misled some customers. ABC's Brad Milkey with his Start Here podcast gives us more.
The New York Times has filed a lawsuit in federal court against Microsoft and ChatGPT maker OpenAI.
This, the latest example highlighting the growing dangers posed by artificial intelligence
to mimic the voice of former President Donald Trump without disclosing.
Artificial intelligence has been everywhere in the news recently for lots of reasons. It's having some teething issues as we try to figure out where it belongs in our everyday lives. There's a fear that AI could replace some job roles, graphic design, customer service, and actually lots of companies are already experimenting with AI customer service. They've been doing it for a while. In fact, back in 2022, an Air Canada customer named Jake Moffat used their website chatbot service to help with the problem he was having. See, his grandmother had just died. He was looking to book something called a bereavement flight, which is a discount offered to customers who are looking to get back home for a funeral. Airlines do it all the time. Moffat asked the chatbot on the Air Canada site how to get the discount. The computer apparently said, quote, "If you need to travel immediately or have already traveled and would like to submit your ticket for a reduced bereavement rate, kindly do so within 90 days of the date your ticket was issued." There's just one problem. Air Canada's policy doesn't exactly work like that. When Jake came back from his grandmother's funeral, he tried to claim that discount. He was within the 90 days. It was just like the chatbot told him to. That's when he found out Air Canada doesn't offer this discount retroactively. But let's rewind how the chatbot put it. "If you need to travel immediately or have already traveled and would like to submit your ticket for a reduced bereavement rate, kindly do so within 90 days of the date your ticket was issued." Luckily for Jake, he had receipts, screenshots of his conversations with the chatbot. He sent them to Air Canada, but they told him he should have double-checked the written policy on their website. That's the real one. To which he said, "What? You want me to double-check your website against a different part of your website?" Well, months and a lawsuit later, Air Canada has now admitted the chatbot was misleading in its advice, and they've been forced by a Canadian court to give him his refund. They initially said they designed this as an experiment, but that they will comply with the ruling. That's kind of the issue here. The whole AI space is experimental, but companies are moving forward with it at alarming speeds.
This morning, OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, introducing the world to this groundbreaking text-to-video AI tool called Sora.
A day after Moffat won his case, OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT, announced their new partnership with Sora, a photorealistic video software that they claim will soon allow users to generate hyper-realistic videos with a text prompt. Like conceivably, if you type in shirtless Vladimir Putin smelling flowers, that's what you'll see, whether it's real or not.
It's going to shift everything for us. We can no longer trust what we see and what we hear.
If stuff like this can look convincing, it's got big implications for spreading disinformation. And when you think about the case of Air Canada, it also raises new questions, like could they create video calls helmed by AI-generated agents? Would those agents even be speaking on behalf of the company, or is it just their best guess? How would you even know if you're talking to a human or a machine? By all accounts, the Sora software still has some work to go before it's released to the public.
So here's the thing. It is not perfect yet. The example that OpenAI gave is it doesn't understand cause and effect. So if you prompt someone to, for example, bite a cookie, the cookie might not have a bite mark.
And this is key because Air Canada's chatbot also didn't understand cause and effect. It didn't have to deal with the effects of saying the wrong thing. It was the customer that had to face the reality of a months-long legal battle while programmers were thinking about their 30,000-foot view.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg is always adding to the list of things they provide to keep your vehicle looking brand new. The full detail shop is just one more service to check off that list. Not only will your interior and exterior shine, your engine will sparkle too. Red Carpet is also getting some winter upgrades, including new equipment in the manual bay and new vacuums. Call Kyle today and let him get you scheduled for your red carpet treatment Tuesday through Saturday. 360-461-0826.
Bathfitter does showers? That's right. We offer a wide selection of beautiful and functional showers. We can even convert your bath into a shower. With our seamless one-piece walls and hundreds of design options, you'll get a beautiful new shower guaranteed for life. Bathfitter's been around for 40 years, and we've been experts at showers for just as long. Bathfitter, it just fits.
At Bathfitter Northwest, pay nothing until 2025. Just call 800-NEW-BATH. OAC, see store for details.
The Straight 102.1 FM, proud to present platinum-selling country singer and hit songwriter Jamie O'Neal, live at Field Arts and Events Hall Friday, March 22nd. Back-to-back #1 songs with There Is No Arizona and When I Think About Angels. With multiple hits that followed, Jamie caught fire and started racking up the awards like ACMs and Billboard Awards, along with multiple Grammy nominations. So get your tickets now for Jamie O'Neal live at the gorgeous Field Arts and Events Hall, downtown Port Angeles. You can buy your tickets online at fieldhallevents.org or by calling the box office 360-477-4679. Jamie O'Neal, part of the Straight Country Series. Brought to you by The Straight 102.1 FM, a Radio Pacific Inc. station.
Caviar Jewelry is freshly restocked with sparkling merchandise and ready to meet your every jewelry need. We have customers coming from Port Townsend all the way out to La Push, and we are so thrilled to be serving the entire Upper Peninsula as we approach our 2-year anniversary. As always, we keep most of our repairs in-house unless laser work is necessary. We offer appraisals, inspection on any jewelry you have, and free cleaning. Open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 till 6. We look forward to seeing you.
Welcome back to the show. It's time for our Bacon Bit segment. That's when our own Amanda Bacon sits down with some very interesting folks. And today, it's McCracken Poston, the author of true crime Zenith Man, Death, Love, and Redemption in a Georgia Courtroom.
McCracken, what an incredible story. First of all, let's do just a really quick recap on how you came to be a part of this story and your role in it. And then we'll get into the details of this Zenith Man trial.
Thank you, Amanda. I served 4 terms in the Georgia legislature. I was elected at age 28. I was loving public service. I developed type 1 insulin-dependent diabetes while I was there. So it kind of changes one's perspective and your sense of your own mortality. So I kind of became a Molotov cocktail throwing reformer. And I passed very popular legislation outside of Georgia's capital, but very unpopular inside the Georgia's capital to make lobbyists register and report the gifts that they give us. So after that,
Seems reasonable.
I thought, well, I've probably burned my bridges here, so I'm going to run for Congress. And the incumbent congressman had just switched parties. And so I thought, well, there's an opportunity. I could at least get the nomination of my party. And obviously he was reading the right tea leaves, although I would have never switched. He beat the hell out of me. I was trounced. And so I was really kind of at a loss. And I went through a divorce about the same time. And, you know, it was a friendly divorce, but it was still my star had fallen. And so I'm seeing suddenly this strange man that I'd known most of my life that everybody thought was odd, that he had become, and that's Alvin Ridley, the TV repairman. He shuttered his business inexplicably. He started blaming everybody for its downfall. He would post missives on the inside of the glass naming everybody he was blaming for the downfall. And then he started suing everybody for what was obviously frivolous, kind of a Rube Goldberg causation connected issues of how Daddy's car wreck ended up in Daddy's pancreatic cancer death 2 years later. But somehow in his mind, that was a causation that he could connect up. So, you know, everybody kind of kept their distance from him. Well, October 4th, 1997, he goes and first tries to call a Chattanooga hospital to come get his wife who's not breathing. Chattanooga Hospital said, oh, no, you've got to call local authorities. Well, that's the last people Alvin wanted to call because he, for every ounce of distrust he had for local and state government, he had a pound of hope and respect for the federal government. So if he could have called a federal authority, he would have. But he reluctantly calls 911. They make a great deal over his flat vocal effect. And they make a great deal over his emotional state, which they said, and they were using this against him at trial. They said it did not meet the moment. His emotional state did not meet the moment of a guy who just found his wife dead. So it was known that Virginia Ridley had epilepsy from childhood. It was known that she medicated for a number of years, but then she abruptly stopped and she basically disappeared from the community. She was last seen September 15, 1970 in an eviction trial where it seemed in hindsight looks like a sham eviction because her parents were at the trial. And the judge stopped the proceedings and had her parents and her come back to his chambers with Alvin's father, but would not let Alvin go. And then came out, declared the trial over, and Virginia went back home with Alvin. So she obviously said, I'm with my husband. That's who I want to be with. So her parents' quest of a couple of years of newspaper articles trying to flush her out somewhat subsided. Well, 27 years later, she's dead. Her family, her siblings, and understandably, they kind of pick up the mantle of, we think she was held away from us. We don't think she made those decisions herself. And then our country is kind of sick. They love stories about some woman being held captive in a basement. And so that just escalated it. The National Examiner does a headline, "Sicko holds wife captive 30 years, then kills her." The German film crews were coming over to try to show where the sicko held his wife for 30 years. So it's just getting out of control. Alvin seemed to be hell-bent on kneecapping our defenses. He wouldn't let me in his house. He wouldn't want to talk about the things that I wanted to talk about, his wife. He wanted to talk about this ancient litigation that resulted in the taking of his van, which was the epitome of why everything fell apart in his life.
Sure.
The van was only taken for 3 weeks. It was returned because Alvin proved that they did not do it right. They gave up on it, but the van is sitting where it was left for 40 years. Alvin refuses to accept it back. And now it's locked in with trees that have grown up all around it. So that's the kind of thing I was dealing with. And there were many times early on that I thought, I bit off more than I could chew with this guy. But suddenly it was one phone call that made me stick with him. It was my opponent, the U.S. congressman, calling me, ordering me to keep Alvin Ridley away from his congressional offices. And so, I took Alvin out in the parking lot and I said, listen, I didn't know. I knew it would break him to think the federal government was now turning against him.
Right.
So I turned it into a story about me. I said, Alvin, the congressman, he hates me so badly. And he looked kind of bewildered, like, why would he hate you? He beat the hell out of you. But I said, he hates me so badly that if you or I show up at his office, he's going to arrest us both. And I can't afford to get arrested, Alvin. So please just stay away from his offices for a while. And I said, and after this is over, I'll show you where he lives. And that satisfied him. That totally satisfied Alvin. And the book is about redemption because it's not only was Alvin redeemed in our community, but I was redeemed in a lot of ways. My father was redeemed, but Congressman, later Governor Nathan Deal was even redeemed. Wow. Because he later, as governor, passed more legislation to help convicted felons get their lives back in order. So for that reason, I wrote in the acknowledgments, I never told Alvin where he lived.
Well, and I think that's a big part of it is that, Alvin seems like a very kooky character. Well, as it turns out, there's actually a diagnosis to why he's a little bit of a kooky character. And I feel like that's a section of our society that if you're not following if you're not following how people think you should act, then clearly you're hiding something. Everyone acts differently in different situations. And I think it's very unfair. So talk a little bit about his personality and ultimately why we think that he was acting just a little bit weird.
Well, by neurotypical standards, Alvin
and I
was
use
not
weird in quotes, by the way.
Yeah. by neurotypical standards, which we probably all plot out on some giant cosmic spectrum, because nobody. It's not black and white. There's a lot of gray area here, and I see some things in myself. Just from growing up with a wonderfully loving but deeply alcoholic parent, which I wrote about in the book. My contribution to the failed marriages and my contribution to my obsessive micromanaging ways that were in direct conflict with Alvin, who would not be micromanaged. And so we just had this conflict from the get-go. I was, again, inspired by my former opponent trying to order me around about Alvin, but nobody was talking about adults with autism in 1998. Mm-hmm. They were talking about the spectrum had just been kind of developed, but they were only talking about it with children.
Yeah.
And there was a huge amount of time trying to find somebody to blame for it. In fact, we have had autism as long as we've had, the ability to record people's behavior. And some of our greatest contributors in science and the arts are now known to have been on the autistic spectrum. And who's to say, certainly the community was misconstruing Alvin.
Yeah.
We know now that he was misconstruing us. We were not, it's a processing issue.
Well, McCracken, I just realized that I have exhausted my time with you, which annoys me to no end because I want to spend so much more time talking to you. But true crime, it's a true crime book. It's Zenith Man, Death, Love, and Redemption in a Georgia Courtroom. There are so many twists and turns in this. Ooh.
Can I tell your viewers and listeners that you'll recognize this story from season 5, episode 9 of Forensic Files, and A&E's American Justice, and NPR's Snap Judgment. They all did this story, but none of them were at the time that we knew about Alvin's autism. So there's not a real coverage of that. Plus, the cover of the book, because there's more than one Zenith Man book, that is Alvin and Virginia in a photo booth at Lake Winnepesaukah, an amusement park in our county, just before they married.
Which nobody really knew about either, which is another twist and turn in that book. McCracken, thank you so much for your time today. Gosh, I really hope I get to chat with you again. I would just love to talk to you more about this.
Thank you so much, Amanda.
It's starting to warm up, but we're not out of winter yet. There's still plenty of cold and wet days ahead. Stay warm and dry by having fun at your house. At Anime Cat, you can buy video games, family games, card games, and board games. Anime Cat is also the largest source for anime shows and manga books on the peninsula. Want to try a new game out? Try our rental library. Want to get out of the house? Spend an afternoon at Anime Cat and play in one of our events. Anime Cat is open 7 days a week, a half block west of the downtown Port Angeles Fountain.
At Olympic Peninsula Title, we wear a lot of different hats. We're investigators, analysts, and the protectors of property rights. We seek a high standard of accuracy. Our commitment to exceptional service strengthens our mission. We reduce risk. We stay on top of the current issues affecting property rights. We sweat the small stuff to give our customers the peace of mind they deserve. When it's time to choose a title company to close your transaction, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title, locally owned and family run since 1981.